Hello, everyone. I'm here with my man, Mr. Green, and this is a tradcon video where they say feminism was created to destabilize society, tax women, and set up the New World Order. And we need to debunk it because it is one of those videos that tries to take the blame off of the gender dynamics and place it on some uh, covert uh, elites group.
Yeah, sinister outside conspiratorial group, basically. And this gets shared by MRAs a lot and right wingers. And this stuff is absolute nonsense. This makes many bold-faced claims without any proof. And it makes claims that can easily be debunked by looking at history as well. And we'll look at the comment section afterwards. This channel, this YouTube channel showing this video, is called Anti-Feminism. And most of this video is not about anti-feminism. It shows you that the issue gets hijacked by these nut jobs.
Yeah, this
Basically.
is not really anti-feminist to blame the government or some shadow conspiracy group. You
They're not even
know,
talking about they're not even talking about feminism in most of the video. They're talking about taxes.
yes, exactly. So let's play a bit of it.
Yes.
Things they told me was that he was at the house one night and we were talking and he started laughing. He said, "Aaron, what do you think women's liberation was about?" And I said, I'm pretty conventional thinking about it at that point. I said, I think it's about women having the right to work, getting equal pay with men, just like they want the right to vote, you know? And he started to laugh.
Yes, exactly.
This video, a little bit at the start, he's claiming that one of the Rockefellers is telling him this, by the way.
Yes.
So it doesn't make any sense. So one of the Rockefellers is going to go to this guy and tell him what feminism is really about. If it was true, the Rockefellers wouldn't tell him, a random movie director, this stuff. Doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, women wanted the right to work, but women always did work.
Yes, there's no such thing as right. It's nonsense. What do you mean? There's no such. I don't have a right to work. Do you have a right to work? Right. If you're unemployed and you're not going to get hired.
Yeah, exactly. No one has to hire anybody.
Yes, women have got more rights to work than men, right? Yeah. And women, they passed laws in the 19th century to protect women from dangerous jobs, but it didn't even protect young boys.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It's women.
Yeah.
Right.
I said, "You're an idiot." And I said, "Why am I an idiot?" He said, let me tell you what that was about. We, the Rockefellers, funded that. We funded Women's Lib, you know? And we're the ones who got all over the newspapers and television, the Rockefeller Foundation.
Oh, by the way, they say they funded it, but they didn't fund the first wave, did they? I mean, they never funded any of this, but I mean...
What, when they talk about Women's Lib, that's the second wave. They probably didn't even fund that either. This guy's
yes, exactly.
You got to throw the claims out of hand. These guys lie just as much as feminists do, right? Yeah. Feminist makes a claim and there's no evidence for it, I dismiss it out of hand. When a feminist makes a claim and shows evidence, I know they're presenting the evidence, they're showing it out of context to lie. That's how little I trust. It's the same as these conspiracy nuts as well. This is a conspiracy nut job video.
Oh, yeah, it is. I'm just saying that even if it had been somehow true, it couldn't explain the first wave of feminism.
Wingers, they're not even aware of the earlier waves of feminism, right? Yeah. Men don't care about feminism until it personally affects them, or they think it personally affects them. So if you all know these women, they won't let me bribe them into a relationship anymore. Yeah. Then they suddenly got feminism, and if all these sweet angels have been brainwashed against us, or some nonsense like, yeah.
That's why the third wave gets drawn up a lot. It's just simply that it's come to the point where feminism has come to the door of the average man. That's it.
Yeah, when people use the term women's lib, it usually refers to the late 60s, early 70s wave of feminism.
Yes, exactly.
He says, and you want to know why? He says there were two primary reasons. And they were, one reason was we couldn't tax half the population before women's lib. The second reason was...
Yeah, you want to say something about that?
Each ludicrous claim as he makes it, so we don't lose track. So before women's lib, the 60s, 70s wave of feminism, right, they couldn't tax women. What?
Of course they were. I mean, before women have always been working in the household, but in the past they would be the man and woman used to be farmers, and they would
Yeah.
tax the farm. So the women were getting taxed. They were
Women
always
used to work well. I've seen countless photos of poor women working in factories, right?
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, these idiots.
Now we get the kids in school at an early age. We can indoctrinate the kids how to think.
And this is the other thing here too. It's like they were always going to send their kids in at an early age to school.
Well,
You
no,
know?
no, no, no. Always going to. They were sending them from an early age at school before this feminism. What the fuck are they on about?
Yeah.
Right? The kids to school in the past where poor people could afford it. Then there was public schools before way before the second wave of feminism, early 20th century, late 19th century, right? Okay. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The only time when people didn't go to school from an early age was before the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, exactly.
This doesn't make one lick of sense. This is nonsense. So women were already getting taxed. They were already children were already from schools at an early age. But somehow the Rockefellers invented feminism in the 60s to trick women to put children into schools and pay taxes. It's nonsense.
Of course. Of course.
It breaks up the family. The kids.
Oh, sorry, friend, stopping it right so soon, but I don't see how the men up top would benefit from the family getting damaged. I mean, everyone wants a working, happy population to leech off of. Even if you're a leech, you want a healthy body. So they never explain why they want the family destroyed.
Also, these rich men are getting divorced and tossed aside as well all the time, right? So why would they invent this so they could screw themselves over? It doesn't make one lick of sense. Like even the founder of Amazon, who's stinking rich, he got divorced and had half his stuff taken, right?
But don't you understand, Mr. Green, that he's not one of the elites? No matter how high up you go, none of these elite men are the official elites to these guys.
Start looking at the state as the family, as the school, as the officials, as their family, not as the parents teaching them.
Right.
And so those are the two primary.
Okay. So first of all, you've got to send your children to school to be educated. Poor working class people in the past couldn't educate their children, right? And there was lots of poor, destitute working class families that needed help. The state had to step in. The family unit was actually failing back then. This is why the welfare state was invented. Like these idiots seem to think, oh yeah, these happy-go-lucky family units were doing well. Then the state came in and took that away. It's nonsense.
The primary reasons for women's live, which I thought up to that point was a noble thing. You know, when I saw their intentions behind it, where they were coming from when they created it, the thought of it, I saw the evil behind what I thought was a noble.
By the way, like he's admitting it, he said, okay, it's not feminism, like you say, they're not really talking about feminism. He's not saying feminism itself is bad. He's saying that there's evil men that behind it that are the bad ones, you know.
Venture.
Aaron, did you know that Gloria Steinem, in one of her own books, now admits the CIA funded Miss Magazine?
No, I had no idea about that. No, I never heard that.
Yeah, we're gonna
CIA funded Miss Magazine?
funded Miss.
I hear this horseshit all the time. What do you say?
First of all, the CIA used to fund loads of magazines all the time. That's a well-known fact. Second of all, they were just giving women money.
Yeah.
Period. That magazine. They weren't doing it. And also, even if the CIA did give a Miss World magazine money, so what? That still doesn't mean they created feminism. Miss World was like the 60s, early 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So not Miss World, Miss Magazine, whatever it is, Miss Magazine. So that these nut jobs, feminism far predates that. Right.
Well, it's more than just that. Just think of how what Disney has become feminist infiltrated too. It's not the CIA, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Men throw out whatever product they're doing and throw other men under the bus once women come along and demand something. That's all that's going on here. You know,
Mhm.
This magazine with the stated goal of taxing women and breaking up the family.
No kidding. I never heard that. Well, Nick told me. I mean, I know it, but not because I know the CIA was involved in it.
Well, Gloria Steinem was proud of it. Oh, the CIA wanted to help me help women.
No
And
kidding.
so they funded it. Yeah.
Sorry.
but
Okay, it's the same. I just want to point out how ridiculous that claim was. The CIA set up Miss Magazine so they could tax women. Do you see what a non-second is? So, and you got to understand, these right-wing nut jobs hate paying taxes. It's like their number one obsession. They're so lizard-brained. Oh, not my resources, not my resources. And
yeah, they would let their country go to shit. And anyone who's listening, there's never been a country without a government, and there's never been a government without taxes. It's just-
also, they'd lose their minds at the thought of women paying taxes as well. These angels are too good to give the government money. It's only us men that should give them some money. Like, what? If you read in between the lines of what they're saying, they're real misandrists and women worshippers.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They need to bribe their girl into their lives, right? So that's part of it too. It's like, oh baby, you'll have to pay taxes if you're not with me.
Yeah.
You know?
Look, that's Jones, by the way, giving this interview. Alex Jones has said on videos that men are a lower form of life compared to women, and women are superior to men. He said this.
Yes.
Men are a lower form of life compared to women, according to this guy. And MRAs are sharing a video done by Alex Jones. This is Alex Jones doing the interview.
Yeah.
Spewing his nonsense.
Well, we've said it before that the MRA was started by these useless tradcons. So I mean
Yes.
that's why it's never made any headway whatsoever. You know.
Yes. Anti-communism doesn't belong in men's movement.
No,
honest.
exactly.
Of course, it's
Yes,
divided.
by the way,
Sorry,
bunch
what's
of
that?
arseholes.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't like communists, by the way. I think they're a bunch of assholes and misandrists themselves. But being fixated and blaming everything on communism is a dead end.
Yes, exactly.
And conquer.
Right,
And
of
what
course.
they do is they focus in obviously on real problems. Women were getting shafted in many ways, but the elite wasn't planning to help them. They were planning to really shaft them and take men away from them.
Take men away from them. Wow.
So, Alex Jones is a feminist. He's a feminist. Women were
Yes.
really getting shafted in a lot of ways. That's nonsense. So he believes the feminist victim narrative,
Yes.
basically. Okay.
And also it's women booting men out of the family unit isn't taking men away from women. It's just women exercising the power to do what they always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Look at what they did with black families. You only had about 10% illegitimacy 50 years ago in black communities, and now it's over 90%. And look at welfare. You were going to give you some money, but you can't have a man in the house.
What's that?
He's ranting on about welfare.
Yes.
So first of all, they look what they did to the black
Yes.
families. Talking about, right? It's not they, it's women.
That's
They can't
right.
call women. It's women called single motherhood. It's women who boot fathers away. It's women who force men to pay child support. It's women who deny them visitation, right? Okay, and he's blaming welfare on this. It's not welfare. It's actually a big cause of this is child support. And one of the reasons why child support exists is so people can avoid paying welfare to the kids once the relationship breaks up. They go, no, not my taxes. The man's got to pay it no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's welfare.
Well, the thing is too, these same guys, they always get upset when they're the ones paying the child support. They always turn around and say, hold it now, I'm different. I'm the one special guy. Every time.
Actually, I don't necessarily agree with you, actually.
Oh, really? Go ahead.
No, I think some men silently pay the child support and they're fine with it.
Oh,
To be
wow.
honest.
That,
Proud of it.
that
example,
is bad.
Like comics matters. That guy.
Yes, that guy. You're right.
I think he's one of those. I'm pay my child support. It's my obligation. I'll pay it. I've got enough resources to bribe the next woman.
Yes. Now that I think about it, now that I remember it, you're right. He actually said he's paying 2 sets of child support. So these losers, they're happy with their cycle until they run out of money to bribe.
And he like selection other men for being irresponsible. He likes to pretend he's responsible, and he's a military vet as well. He joined the army to get paid and get his resources to bribe women, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and also I think he married a Muslim woman once.
Yes,
He went-
he mentioned it twice. That one was Jewish. He said one was Jewish and the other one was Muslim, because he was
Yeah.
supposed to. What's that?
He's a right winger. I promise you, you won't do it in public because it'll affect your channel. I bet you he doesn't like Muslim men at all. He'll marry a
Yeah.
Muslim woman. They're all like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And so that was further to degrade the family,
Family.
totally destroyed, and now illegitimacy is over 50% in the general population.
Right. Well, see, the whole thing is these people control the money, so they make all the rules. You understand? And they put whatever rules they want into effect. And the truth is, America has really become a socialist, communistic country.
That is total horseshit. Total.
Yeah, it's red under the bed. It's like America is the least socialist first world nation in the world out of all of them, right? So
Yeah.
even they call that communist, everything's communist.
That's what I was going to
These
say. Everything is communist. There's no such thing as a non-socialist country if the United States is. You know, you know, their idea is basically saying, you know, I live in a country that really doesn't exist. No one pays taxes. Everyone just owns their own business.
communism is meant to be more advanced than socialism. It's a higher level of socialism, basically. It's the highest stage of socialism, right? So they're saying America's communist. That's ridiculous. Yeah.
The America is filled with corporations that are in control. They're not communist corporations.
I promise you, these right wingers call these corporations communist as well. They call them communist.
Yeah, of course they do.
And everybody says it's a capitalistic country. It's not a capitalistic country. You know, how can it be capitalistic when you have a central bank? That's the first.
Hold it. What is a bank? Is it the Socialist Communist Bank of United States?
I'm going to talk about centralized banks. What would happen about centralized banks? The reason why they introduced centralized banks is because there's lots of small, medium-sized banks, right? And when they went bankrupt, the people who had the savings, like the average normal guy who had the savings in them, were fucked.
Yeah,
basically. But so before all these measures that they ran against, the economy is a lot more unstable. Okay, and so also they ran the gold standard a lot. They want to return to the gold standard, which is complete nonsense as well. There's a reason why they left the gold standard. So they talk about inflation and printing money all the time. They don't know what they're talking about. Not economists.
yeah.
They're just scared.
It can't be. You know, the
It's
money.
a planned economy.
It's a planned economy. It's a phony. If they want to create prosperity, they just print dollars. They just make dollars or put digits into the economy, and now you have prosperity. You don't have real prosperity. You don't have real manufacturing. You just have money being injected in. It's an infusion of credit,
Which only makes the government go into more debt.
into more debt. But the point I'm trying to make is that by creating this Federal Reserve System, the government now became dependent on these private banks for money, and they started taxing us. You see, and so now what happens is that in
Trevor,
Yes.
you couldn't hear me at all there.
No, you are quite quiet. Yeah.
I was asking you to pause for like 30 seconds, and
Oh no, I couldn't hear you. Sorry.
Okay. So what was you talking about? Okay, he was talking about governments going to debt, but he won't talk about the main reason in the USA because it's all the military spending. They spend so much on military spending in the USA. So, but that goes to basically soldiers, so they don't care.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've said it before in other videos. They could cut their military spending in half, and it would still be bigger than 2 or 3 of the other countries in Europe combined. You know, it's just so bloated. They could free up a shit ton of taxes if they wanted to. You know.
Yes.
And that's the one thing these right-wing tradcons will never say. They will never say, you know, something, we need to cut our military down and free up some taxes. They never say it. They'll go after everything else.
A lot of them are army vets or in the army.
Yes, exactly.
So this small government nonsense can get thrown in the trash. Nothing to do with small, big government.
Yeah.
So it's a framing.
Yeah, all you guys listening, if someone joins the military, they don't have any right to go on about welfare because
Yeah.
they are living off the taxpayers' teat. Do you understand? Now let's play a little more. Are you still talking? Okay.
I'm fine.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure you're still,
Going closer.
yeah.
So
35, I believe it was, Social Security started. And they gave you Social Security cards, said not to be used for identification, the Social Security number right on the card, right? And through Social Security, they started deducting money out of your paycheck. That was the first time they were ever taking.
Yes.
what would happen to old people without social security?
Yes.
Right. So that either a lot of old people will be abandoned by the families. Well, there's three things that happen. A lot of old people will be abandoned and they'll die. Okay, right. A lot of old people will be forced to stay with their families. They wouldn't be abandoned, but people will go, "Oh fuck, I'm stuck with these people. It's my responsibility." Okay, that would happen as well. Okay, so yeah, so that's the two things that would happen really. So either old people, not older, or they'll pass a law forcing people to stay with them. So you'd like people completely unwilling wouldn't be allowed to abandon old people, but they'd be forced to look after them. And they'd be meant to be forced to do it. It wouldn't be the women, would it?
No, of course not. Of course not. That's why, by the way, that, quote unquote, the patriarchy was over there in Japan and China and that, because they would say, oh, they would throw the little girls out in China in preference for the little boys. But the mothers want the boys to look after them in their old age. And they knew their daughters weren't going to do that. And so it was parental self-interest,
Yes.
And this guy here talking, you think he wants an elderly parent living with him? All these guys who want to make big money and have the hot woman, wife, occasionally have sex with them. They don't want an old person in the next room. They're all the same,
Take money out of your paycheck because people agreed to it because they thought it was going to their retirement fund. And so then when they instituted the income tax again, they started taking money out of your paycheck because Social Security could do it. And then they could do it again. You see what I'm saying?
And so now they've even taken control of the tax payment itself. I mean, literally like.
Oh, did you say pause?
There's ranting on about taxes, really.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I want to. This video is on an anti-feminist channel, right? And it's long left the topic of feminism completely.
Exactly.
So
Not talking about it anymore. Exactly.
Like you're a slave, they're taking it right there when you make it.
Exactly.
They don't even trust the public enough to.
Oh, by the way, what he's about to say, I wouldn't trust the public, because you know what happens if the government didn't take money off my check. What would happen is some emergency would come up, and I'd end up having to spend that money for the emergency.
Yes.
So that's how people behave. What happens if you get 10% more money, or let's say it was taxes, I'm just saying 10%. People just increase their lifestyle by 10%. They don't put it away.
Yes.
There are people who save really well, and there's other people on the other extreme. So the government needs to do this because not everybody is the same.
Well, I want to make another point. Alex Jones talking about slavery, like paying taxes is slavery. I've never heard him call child support slavery.
Of course.
So, yeah.
To send them a check, right? So they take it out automatically because they know people aren't going to want to pay it. So what's happened is that through the implementation of the Federal Reserve System, the government has become vested in these bankers, and they get their money from the bankers. And so then they impose a tax on us, which makes us more slaves, makes it more difficult for us to survive, right? Giving them more profit.
Pause. So the government gets money from the bankers, right? Then they impose taxes on us, and this makes us slaves. That's a bit rambling and nonsensical to me. It doesn't seem to make one lick of sense, right?
No,
if they're getting money from the bankers, right? Why would they need taxes?
Well, that and like I said before, every country has a government. All governments make people pay taxes. So that's the way things work. It's not slavery. It's people pulling their resources to keep their country running. That's what your taxes actually do. To all you guys who don't know what taxes are for,
Yes.
Benefits. And now what's happened is that through the Federal Reserve System, the bankers have pretty much taken control of our government. It doesn't matter Republican and Democrat anymore, because they're both the same. Neither one of them are talking about shutting down the Federal Reserve System or stopping the payment of taxes, or any of the big issues that face Americans, right? So I had a friend, Nick Rockefeller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was.
Yeah.
So he said, "Oh yeah, government's not talking about getting rid of taxes, all the other big issues. So the big issue is taxes.
Yes.
These guys,
Exactly. Oh my God.
Who was one of the Rockefeller family, and he, when I was running for governor in Nevada, he came to me and
Oh, by the way, from what I've seen, the United States are the most disunified group of people I've ever seen. The Texans love to talk about Texas as if it wasn't a part of their country, of the United States. Not to pick on the Texans in particular, but a lot of these states in the country don't agree with one another or don't like one another.
I'm going to another observation as well. The right-wing states that leech off the left-wing states or the democratic states, they're the ones that talk about splitting away the most. Like they're the most ungrateful. So
introduced himself to me through an attorney, and we became friends. We started talking about things, and I learned an awful lot from Mr. Rockefeller. And one of the things that we used to talk about was the ultimate plan of the banking industry, what they wanted to accomplish. And the goals of the banking industry.
Why would Rockefeller, if he was part of these elites, tell anyone about this? Why wouldn't he keep it under the rug?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Tell some random move.
Yeah, exactly. Some random guy.
It's like the worst person you could tell because he's got access to the. Yeah. Okay.
Federal Reserve System, but the private banks in Germany and England, all over Italy, all over the world, they all work together. They're all central banks, and they're all part of the Communist Manifesto.
Hold it. This is some bullshit right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all a part of the Communist Manifesto.
I think there's a part of the Communist Manifesto though, where I think Karl Marx talks about a central bank for a communist society, right? But that's like saying the communists use tractors to farm, we use tractors to farm, therefore we're communist.
Yes, exactly. It's more of that bullshit.
Central banking is one of the major planks of the Communist Manifesto. We talk about America being a capitalistic country, but yet at the same time we have a central bank that plans everything for us, right? And the graduated income tax is another plank of the Communist Manifesto, right?
Right. So the Cold War, right? Because it's the same people in power. These rich elites who were in power during the Cold War, they're secretly communist, even though they're capitalists and rich billionaires, right? But they had a Cold War with Russia.
Yeah.
Why don't you say, hello, comrades, let's ally together in an alliance. We're on the same side. Why don't they say that? Because it's bullshit. Communist, obviously. They're capitalists.
Yes. They are capitalists. They're going to be capitalists tomorrow. Yeah.
So right there, you have two major planks of the Communist Manifesto. They've been brought in because of the Federal Reserve System, okay? So the ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers, and they're doing it in sections. The European currency, the euro, and the European Constitution is one part of it. Now they're trying to do it in America with the North American Union, right? And they want to create a new currency called the Amero.
The Americans really don't like this idea of unification. Like that's why they don't like the euro. They have more respect for the countries when France has the franc and Britain has the pound.
But to be honest, Americans really shouldn't really have an opinion on the euro because they're ignorant on it either way. And I've got to say, if there was a union of North America, I think the Canadians would lose out because they wouldn't impose subsidized healthcare in America. They'll probably just get rid of it for Canadians if that ever happened. It'd be a disaster for. So yes, yeah.
Right. And the whole agenda.
Oh, not to get too much into it, but it was like, well, I think it was NAFTA. Basically, they had free trade between the countries, and of course, it hurts Canada because the states were outproducing us. Yes. And if Canada actually started turning around, that's when America would put the tariffs up and break the deal.
It's all major industrial countries developed using tariffs, by the way.
Yes.
Right. All of them. That's why Japan colonized, right? It never got colonized, and they were able to protect their markets. Right. Same with Germany. Okay. So the patterns are the British were sort of against tariffs at one point because they were so ahead, but when they needed them, they suddenly changed their mind.
Yes.
Wanted tariffs.
Yeah.
Right. British had tariffs. Okay. This is a pattern of history. Yeah.
Is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is getting me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what
Okay. There's something called credit cards, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why would they bother put chips in people?
Yeah. I've got a debit card for my bank. And matter of fact, I remember there was a few, I remember on the news once, there was young people who robbed someone and they stole their cards and they were caught because they used their cards. They were able to trace what they bought, know?
Why would you need to put a chip in someone when most people got mobile phones and they're easy to track?
Exactly. That's what I mean. The technology has already come up to that,
It sounds like some sort of weird 50s sci-fi story, when they used to think before credit cards existed. Oh, in the future they'll put a chip in you and you'll be linked to your credit bank account or some nonsense like that.
Yeah, well, we already have a number. We all have a SIN number, So I mean, that's the way it is. It's already too late. It's probably about a century too late to talk about the dangers of everyone giving a number. It's
they want to accomplish, and all money will be in your chips, and
Oh, by the way, none of these rich guys actually want to do away with cash because cash means anonymity. I know I'm screwing up the word, but anonymous. When you buy with cash, unless someone catches you on camera, people don't know what you purchased. They don't know it was you. So all these guys want this freedom,
Yeah.
Instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting with it.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Exactly. He was saying the government have had the right to take taxes out your paycheck for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So why would they need microchips to do this?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Do we really need to listen to the last 30 seconds?
All of it, for the hell of it.
Okay, we'll do it.
They're doing. They can just turn off your chip, and you have nothing. You can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
And that chip's connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do, what
everything.
You sell.
Everything is in there, And so they want a one world government controlled by them.
You say something? Did you say pause?
So fucking stupid. They can
Yeah.
put look, they can put your chip in your hand like that and leave a scar. Like what?
Yeah. Like I say, I already got a chip already in my banking card, so they don't need to actually implant it in your body, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody being chipped, all your money in those chips, and they control the chips and they control people, and you become a slave. You become a serf to these people. That's their goal. That's their intentions.
Well, like you said, for the last 4 minutes, the last half of this video, there wasn't one mention about feminism at all.
Yes.
And you know, these elites, they want to destabilize society. That really
Yeah.
helps their goals. You want to be
Yeah.
super rich, but you want a society that doesn't work.
Yeah. Like Bond villains, basically. They're just doing it for the shits and
You know, wow, it even says the anti-feminist. Wow.
this channel.
Okay, let's look at some of these. Now, did you want to look at this one here? It's got a, here's
So
one. to
basically,
look.
right, look, the deaf one, because I want to show you the paranoia. When this is
This one here?
scroll up the deaf one saying, "Rip it, rest in peace, Aaron Russo. You died for telling the truth to power."
Yes.
Right? Cancer, but he's implying that he was murdered by the elites. Obviously, doesn't make any sense.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Now, look at this guy, confused fella. Feminism is consistently supported by big business and government alike. Why? Big business. What's that?
Let me put it this way. I'll explain why.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right? Why do these tradcon slaves want to work and provide for women while they stay at home and not work at all?
Yeah,
It's the same reason. It's the same reason why powerful elites want to do it.
exactly. Matter of fact, these guys are going to even look. He says big benefits big business benefits by getting 2 workers for the price of 1 from every household. Pal, we already said that women always have worked with men to produce stuff. So they're always getting 2 workers. In the 1950s, 1 worker, typically male, could support a household by working 40 hours per week. But that's only a small chunk of history.
Yes.
Very tiny one. All the other time, men and women worked together on the farm, you know?
There's a bigger problem with inaccuracy. It's not even men and women work together on the farm. Women were working in factories as well. Women were working in factories in the 19th century and the 20th century. Poor working class women were forced to work. It was a sign of prestige not to work, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So it doesn't make any sense. Now, there's a bigger problem with this. What these people are implying, they're saying working for men is good. That's their role. Working for women is bad. They're above it. They're too important to work.
Yeah.
Now, and also, this is an option not on the table, but they don't even bring it up. Here's a better option than the man working 40 hours and the woman staying at home, or the man working 40 hours and the woman working 40 hours. Both sexes work 30 hours, right? Yeah. Work 30 hours, and they both bring in more money, and they both have a better lifestyle. That's not an option because women want to put burdens on men and not work.
Yes. Look, there are cases where a woman might work 30, but if she's working 30, the man's working 50.
And she's doing a job she enjoys to socialize.
Yes, exactly. It's usually a clean job. You wear nice clothes to it. Yeah, there's no danger to it. It's, you know, let's see. Now both husband and wife must work often 50 hours a week more each. So if this guy is saying they both have to work 50 hours, then how would he get away with a man working just 40 now? Right?
Okay. So here's another problem as well. The statistics show this to be false. It's a proven fact. You can't debate this. When people couple up, it's the man who works far more hours than the woman.
Yes.
Period. The man has to earn more money than the woman. Period. So he's saying this is a conspiracy to force this outcome, but the outcome he's talking about doesn't even exist.
Yeah, exactly. There isn't a case where a woman gets up with a man and then she works more hours. No, I mean, that's it doesn't happen. let's see, push down dress. What else? Government benefits because feminists allow it to tax women's labor for the first time. Women have always been taxed. Confused fellow is a proper name for you. Government taxes women income plus imposes sales tax on extra stuff they need to buy to maintain a job. When working, also make it look like the GDP is growing, which makes government look good. I mean, yeah, this is conspiracy, not 101 here.
So basically, so he's saying women look, women have always wasted money on luxury items, right? So I don't think that's a problem. That's not. He said, "Oh yeah, they got to buy another car to go to work." I don't think that's a problem with women. They're not really going to work, are they? They're probably, if they're going to work any more than they did in the past, it's because they consider most men losers, not good enough to support them in the lifestyle that they want.
That is what's happening. That's why the deselected group of men has grown phenomenally in size.
Yeah.
You know, not to mention, I mean, this is what happens too when they don't mention how feminism kicks guys out of the education system and keeps women in. Yeah.
They don't care. If another guy's getting zapped, they don't care. It's just taxes, taxes. My women are being brainwashed. That's what it's all about, really.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Did you want to look in there under the comments under these guys?
Carry on scrolling down. There's lots of good comments.
Okay, let's scroll down. Let's see. I've seen the whole interview with Aaron Russo. Is patently decent, intelligent man. Most men are fine with equal opportunities, but feminism is not about equality. It's about destroying the family, and it's women who suffer. Oh my God, that's a good name for you, liar, liar, liar.
It's that, oh, women are the real victims of feminism. Like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, it's like you were right. Tradcons are feminists themselves.
This one's good as well. Expand it. You've got
Yeah.
more.
Exactly.
This one's pretty bad.
Let's
Let me
see.
read this one.
Okay, go ahead.
This guy is kind of right. I am a Hispanic and I see that our moral values are going down the toilet. All the women are divorced or have many kids from different dudes. Yeah, that's mate going fetish, by the way.
Yeah.
I am not saying also not to blame. It is to blame. If women are booting men out and having kids with multiple men, it's women choosing to do it.
Yeah.
Period. So they can't even blame women. I'm not saying that men are also not to blame, but women have become the same as deceiving and cheaters as men. So hold it. So what he's basically saying there is women have been corrupted and now they've been sunk to the same level as men. They're deceiving cheaters at the same level as men because the moral values are decaying.
Yeah.
So what that women were better than men in the past, were pure goddesses and angels. And now some of them have been corrupted and brainwashed. I haven't seen a couple that are not divorced or have not cheated on each other. It's disturbing how many in my community has become. All right. I'm actually translating, correcting it. I'm still linked to where it's come through. It's very badly written. Some women start working and meeting other dudes and don't hesitate twice to leave their husband or cheat on them. What the hell has happened to my people? So
yeah. So he's admitting the women. Look, all these guys, even if they were cheaters, who are they cheating with? You know, there's only one woman for every guy out there. So obviously they're cheating with women who are cheating on their men. So come on. Let's see. I was in prison from 2005, 2010 on income tax issues. And I remember getting a Christmas card from Mr. Russo. Never met him, but must have been a very nice guy. So this guy didn't want to pay his taxes.
I something, right? If you're such a greedy little fucker, right, you've only got yourself to blame. Really, yeah. I'm sorry. You had 5 years of your life taken from you, and I do think that's too long for tax evasion. I think it should just be like a year, right? Yeah. But it's nasty that's happened to you. But that's due to your own greed. If you weren't greedy and more sensible, it will never happen to you.
Yeah, just pay your damn taxes.
Or become a bum and panhandle if you don't want to pay taxes, right?
Let's see what this one has to say. I have to say, even if this is all bullshit, it makes a lot of sense. So even if this was bullshit, it would make sense. Half the population that is women generally don't choose high-paying jobs are more inclined to seek happiness and pursue spiritual goal. Spirit, like this guy's out of his mind, instead of working hard. That's kind of the problem for a government that depends on taxes of hardworking, high-earning citizens. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a real reason men and women are pitted against each other to achieve gender equality. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. So there's a lot to unpack there.
This is a very important thing. Men and women pitted against each other. They're not pitted against each other. It's women attacking men. Period.
Yes.
There's no outside force setting them against each other, like these people want to believe.
Yeah.
The angels have it brainwashed and corrupted.
Yeah. And he said, oh, let's see, goals. Let's see. I want to make sure I get this right. Don't choose high-paying jobs. Yes. Well, the idea that they said women go after spiritual pursuits is pretty laughable. And yes.
The way I see it, women aren't crazy about working 6 hours a week, and men like to provide for the women that they love. No, they don't. They provide for women because they have to, or they don't get a relationship.
Yes, exactly. If women would like guys who bummed on the beach, guys would be running to the beach with their surfboards. But people tend to agree that feminism is a wedge between the sexes and it seeks to uproot and destroy the conventions of an otherwise functional, harmonious society. Wow, this guy, Dan Silvers, what a loser.
Yeah. So men working as slaves, women are too important to work. They're spiritual beings. So like, buying all that luxury items, not working, gossiping with women, like, women do most of the consumer spending, right? And they buy lots of frivolous shit, like fashion, makeup, clothes, all this crap, right? But that's spirituality. I don't think they know what the term spirituality is, to be honest. Jesus Christ.
Well, he says the government that depends on taxes of hardworking, high-earning citizens. He says that as if that's a good thing, but then he turns around and say, well, women don't do that, but they're still good even though they don't do that.
Yeah.
It's oh my gosh, Steve, mental gymnastics.
This man died trying to wake us all up to the truth. He'll be greatly missed. May God rest his soul in peace. Our beloved brother is gone. The man died trying to, so he's implying that he was murdered by the elites again. He died of cancer. He died of cancer unless they injected the cancer in him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, also these guys never mention any names. Who are the elites ever?
Look, this is a trad. Expand this one because I bet there's been loads of sucking up to this woman. This video makes me to be a housewife and send my kids to school at age 7. So she wants to delay.
God, let's see. Yeah, I want to see. Me too. That's a guy. Okay. This Garrett, or Garrett or whatever, you want to be a housewife? Okay, school. Shit, if you are going to be a stay-at-home mom, do homeschooling. Public schools are just ways dumb kids down. My sister's a straight A student, but yet she is still dumb as a box of rocks. Yeah, like the average person is really going to school their kids. Like, look, is this woman going to teach her kids like advanced algebra? Most adults forget mathematics by the time they're 4 years out of high school,
basically. This is it. Mimi, Jerry Roberts, Mimi wanted to be a housewife. These women, those women ruined it for me. So no, they didn't ruin it for you. You just look your nose down. You just look your nose down on the men that are available. Basically, they're too low status for you.
Yes, exactly. They can't give them, like you say, the lifestyle they want. It can't be that malicious. Everything has something. So I asked, what's
move on?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
I've already pre-scanned this.
Okay, good. Okay, you want to look at PATS 13? This information is important. And the pretended. What's that?
A hoax. I always knew the women's lib was a hoax. Actually, I don't think it sort of is, but it sort of isn't, because at the end of the day, they're still honest about their intended goals. They hate men and they want to get everything they want out of them. They just ignore wins. Here's another one. Be set free. If women were at home with their children, nobody would be wondering if they were a boy or girl. Mum would set them straight. That's more woman worship, and that's
Yeah.
absolutely false. That's absolutely false. Like,
Yes.
most of the kids that grow up confused, it's due to female parents, single mothers or lesbian parents. Like, do you remember that? There's this lesbian couple, right? They had a kid. It was a botched circumcision, and they gendered him a female against his consent, and he ended up killing himself
Yes.
over it,
Of
right?
course.
So I think we've seen enough now. These guys are women worshippers. They're misandressed, women worshippers,
Yeah.
for sure. They're just typical tradcons.
Yeah. All these right-wing tradcons, libertarians, that's what they are. Woman worshiping, man-hating tax evaders. That's what they are.
Yes. And look, these guys, every single one of them would marry a radical feminist in a heartbeat.
Yes. That's the one thing. Go ahead.
Not even a good average looking one or an ugly one would marry.
Yeah.
You know.
The men take what they can get, and these guys would.
But Bill Burr, right? He's not a good-looking guy, right? He looks worn out. Okay, he's high status enough to get a groupie girl, right? He could get them interchangeably if he wanted to.
Yes.
Right. Okay, but he's married to a female feminist.
Yes. And everyone who shows Bill Burr acts like he's a hero, like he talks for the average guy.
Yeah.
And they have all kinds of talks with him and his feminist wife where she's always like making fun of him in a stream, but not in a good way, you know. Disrespecting him.
Here's the thing I've noticed with all these right wingers: they've got all these heroes like Jordan Peterson, Bill Burr, whatever. And when they turn out to be hypocrites, they'll just ignore it. They don't care. They just want to worship them.
Exactly. So, all these guys want to worship the high status man and say, I wish I was him, and bribing all these women into my lives.
I think we've about covered this now.
Yes, we've done justice, I think. And thank you, Mr. Green. I appreciate it. See you around.